Last week we were looking at the S-curve and the diagonal composition. This week we're going to be focusing instead on the circular composition and the triangle composition. We're looking at the circular composition. This is a really popular type of composition used to kind of help your eye to circle back around and see the whole painting. Kind of similar to the S-curve, where the S-curve is trying to lead your eye. The circular one does the same thing. And in some cases, you'll even see kind of a spiral effect where it just zooms your eye in and tightens that spiral as it goes closer to the focal point. So we're going to be looking at some examples of how artists utilize the circular composition. We're looking at a painting by Georgia O'Keeffe, who's notorious for these big, huge, opulent flower paintings. And a lot of them have that circular composition to them. So what's beautiful about this piece is it really does spiral your eye in. You kind of follow the lines on the petal and your eye just goes right to the center, and then it kind of flows back out again to explore the whole painting. Like with all of the other compositions we've looked at, you can apply the circular composition to any subject or any genre. So you could use the circular composition on something that's a landscape. You could use it when you're talking about the figure or people. You could do it with still life. It's really applicable to any subject matter. So here we're looking at a painting that is using the clouds to kind of form a circle. It's this kind of natural fluffy clouds where the clouds are kind of breaking apart, and it's helping to create this spiral effect where your eye follows the clouds and then it leads to the people kind of on the foreground there. I'm sure you spotted it right away, but if you look at this beautiful ballerina, she's creating a circle with her hands. And you can see that the circle kind of leads your eye around that picture. It allows you to explore like her face and her shoulders, and then kind of lands last at her two hands there. This composition is also a type of framing where there's a frame being created by the rock formation, and inside that frame is a little mini landscape that kind of adds to the painting. It's also a tunnel, so you're looking through this kind of tunnel or a tube and you can look out the other end, which is also really cool. So an interesting painting that really allows you to explore the whole piece. We can't talk about triangular compositions unless we were talking about the Mona Lisa. And that's what we're looking at right here. We're looking at a picture of Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. And not only is he using a triangle composition, but he's actually taking it one step further, and it's more of a pyramid. So I think I told you before that this is the first time in history where the three-quarters view was actually explored. And that kind of opened the door for portraiture to really explore that point of view. So anyway, we're looking at a strong, wide base, and you can see the top of her head forms the peak of the pyramid. So it's a very stable, very in control, very poised composition, and it is useful for any subject. The thing about all of these compositions is you also have to understand that some of them are implied. So this image that we're looking at right now, it's more of an implied triangle. Your eye kind of connects some of the dots for you. And you'll see this frequently in art when you're looking at paintings. There are implied things. So if you're talking about a circular composition, there may not be an actual connected circle, but there's enough objects to kind of form a circle so that your brain can kind of connect the dots on its own without an actual line through all of them connecting them up. There can also be more than one, and that can include more than one triangle, or it could be multiple types of composition within one piece. So you could have an S curve and also have like a frame or an L composition in the same painting. So you could have kind of a hybrid. So in this painting, what we're looking at is really two triangular shapes. There's the big triangle of the main mass of dogs that are right in the midst of wrestling and biting. There's this big old dog fight, and it looks pretty intense. So there's that big triangle, and then there's that secondary triangle. So our eye really wants to go to that big pile where the dogs are really at it, and then your eye goes secondary to the left-hand side to that smaller triangle. And again, some of these triangles are kind of implied, but I've drawn the triangular shape on top so you could visualize it better. Again, we're looking at almost a three-dimensional triangle, so we're looking more at a pyramid when we're seeing this mountain, and it's very effective. You get that sense of power and control and stability, and that's what really that triangle shape can do. It can look really regal and poised. This is almost exactly the same thing that you did last week, except for the composition types have changed. So I'm still looking for the same size thumbnail sketches, 4x6. And again, you have a choice of either going vertical or horizontal. It's best if you draw the rule of thirds grid on top. I know it seems like extra work, but it really can help if you start to utilize it and place the horizon on either the top third or the bottom third, and also looking for those hot spots. It can be very effective. So you're going to be drawing it out lightly in pencil first with an outline, and then I'm expecting you to go in there and fully shade it. Now, if you do have other materials at home that you'd like to use, you can shade with other materials. It does not necessarily have to be in pencil. If you have pastels, you want to add some color to it, that's good too. But I am looking for the values. So it is more important that the values are accurate than the colors that you're using if you do opt for that. So again, pretty much same thing, just different compositions. Try and find some good images either online or go look for some in your backyard or out in the real world. And good luck.